Hello again, everyone. My name is James Shotwell. This is Music Biz, and today we're going to talk about how you can continue to grow your audience without annoying your audience. First and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to our viewers because it's you who suggested the topic for today's video, and I get it. We spend so much time talking about how to market yourself, how to present yourself, how to find the right aesthetic for your release, but we don't think about how much advertising sometimes has a negative impact on our existing audience. I mean, if you like something, you don't constantly need to see advertisements telling you why you should like it. You're already engaged. So today, I'm going to give you a few suggestions on how to be your genuine self online and how to present yourself in a way that gives people a reason to keep checking out what you're doing without constantly giving them the hard sell. Okay, now this might be the only thing that you need to know, but if you're planning content, if you're trying to figure out what it is that you're going to post in the weeks ahead, there are 3 questions that every person that works in social media asks that you as an artist planning content should ask as well. And that is, does this piece of content entertain us? Does it educate us? Or does it document something important? Now let me give you an example of each, though in many cases, a piece of content can be 2 or more of these things. So an entertaining piece of content would be like a video premiere, or a song clip, or a demo idea, something creative. An educational piece of content would be tour dates, or a release date announcement, or a reminder about a recently released single. And a piece of content that documents something would be like a photo from your concert last week, or photos of you in the studio, something behind the scenes. Now again, you can combine these 3 pillars in any way that you like, but your content should always do at least one of these 3 things. And you don't want to have too much of one and not enough of the others. So that's why a lot of us encourage you to plan your content in advance. Like, plan the next 2 weeks of tweets. Make sure that you're giving us educational content, informative content, and that you're documenting your career as an artist. Because if you don't do it, nobody else will. So be your own archivist. Of course, we have a video for that if you'd like to check it out. Okay, now that I've told you about those 3 pillars, I want to answer a question that I get a lot, which is, how often should I post? Or is posting every single day too much? And I argue that you can definitely post every single day as long as you have the content to back it up. What gets a lot of people in trouble is that they don't really have anything to say, or if they're sharing photos on something like Instagram, it's just a whole lot of promo shots. And they don't really tell a story, they don't really offer anything compelling, it's all kind of one note and people just forget it and move on rather quickly. But if you can meet those 3 pillars and balance the type of content that you're sharing, educational, informative, stuff that documents your history, if you can do that in a way that generates enough content to make posting every single day a viable option, then absolutely go for it, because your fans are going to love that. But if you don't have that much content yet, or if you're just not a digitally inclined person who doesn't want to be on social media every single day, you absolutely don't have to do that. Figure out what works for you. Maybe it's posting 3 times a week with some random asides thrown in between, or maybe you post your feed twice a week and you update your story on a far more regular basis. Figure out what works for you, because being comfortable with what you're doing and being able to stay consistent with it matters way more than whether or not you post every single day. And speaking of that, speaking of being comfortable with what you're doing and feeling confident in your ability to keep doing it, nothing, and I mean literally nothing, matters more than being your genuine self. Now, if you're worried about annoying people with your actual personality, well, you just have to accept the fact that not everybody is going to be a fan of yours. And maybe someone finds a song that they love by you and they follow you and they realize that your personality just doesn't gel with theirs, and you know what? That's their loss. At the end of the day, the only way that you're going to feel creatively fulfilled in your music and in the way that you present yourself online is if you're comfortable with the content that you're creating. So figure that out. Figure out who it is that you want to present yourself as, and then just be that person. Being your genuine self is the best way to avoid becoming a nuisance to people that follow you online, because your fans will see through the facade. They'll see through whatever veil that you try to hide your true self behind. It's just not worth it. And on this idea that your fans can see through things and that they will know when you're being inauthentic, you cannot, I repeat, cannot spend every single post promoting things that you have to sell, telling people to go check out your new single, or telling them to go to the merch store. That gets old so quickly, and it doesn't hit home every single time. Nobody is seeing the same ad every single day and then one day, 21 days in, deciding to finally click. If they're really your fans, they're going to seek this stuff out on their own. So I would say limit the amount of selling that you do, and I mean direct selling, actually telling people, go here and stream this thing, or buy this thing, or do this thing. Limit it to only a handful of times every single month. And I know that that's going to be very difficult for some of you, especially if you're in the habit of just constantly asking people to do stuff. But so much of succeeding in the social media space is about giving rather than taking. And by that I mean, don't try to take people's money, take people's time, just give them content. Give them interesting things to look at, to listen to read. That's how you start building a following. And once they start to appreciate what you're doing for them, they appreciate the music, they appreciate the videos, they appreciate whatever content it is that you're generating, that's when they're going to seek out how to support you financially and how to listen to your music or watch your videos or whatever it is that you want them to do. You do not always have to be selling. And in fact, you shouldn't always be selling. Never. And while we're on this topic of avoiding the hard sell whenever possible, I have two more things that I really want to point out that will save you so much time and will help you nurture your audience rather than drive them away. And the first is to erase the phrase out now, listen now, click now. Any of those phrases, just push them out of every marketing strategy that you currently have. Because if you have a new single out, listen, we all know where it's available to be found. Nobody thinks that your music is only on Apple Music or is only available on YouTube. We all expect it to be everywhere, so you don't have to tell us that. We already know. You have to assume that your consumers are intelligent, at least to the bare minimum. And that means that they understand that if you put out a new single, it's available everywhere. So rather than telling us that it's available everywhere, take your time to craft something more thought-provoking. Tell us about the importance of the song, what it means to you, why you wrote it, what you hope we take away from it. Give us something of substance that will do so much more for you than just saying, out now, click here, go listen to it on Spotify. We know it's on Spotify. Tell us something that we don't know. And along those lines, I also want to suggest that if you're trying to create social media ads, which is going to put you in front of far more people and of course raises the risk of turning more people away, don't go with the out now. Instead, come up with a clever way to hide your selling. And a great way to do that is to compare yourself to somebody that maybe the fans you're targeting already like. So if you're a pop punk band, you're targeting fans of All Time Low, maybe the message accompanying your social media ad says, do you think we're the next All Time Low? Or if you love All Time Low, you're going to love this. Or I think All Time Low fans will love this band, and then show them the thing that you do, and maybe they'll fall in love with you. But you don't have to say out now, you don't have to say available now, and you don't have to say listen to this, because I'm already looking at your account. Of course I'm going to do those things, and I know where the music is, so you don't have to tell me. So the big lessons here are, one, don't underestimate your audience. They're intelligent. They already listen to music. They already like you, at least to some extent. If something new is out, they're going to find it. So just give them a reason to keep seeking out what it is that you do. Number two, figure out what you're comfortable with. Figure out who it is you want to be online and be that person. Number three, plan your content. Make sure that you're giving educational content, entertaining content, and that you're documenting your journey so that people can follow along and feel that they're a part of the narrative that you're creating with your art. And number four, above all else, stop trying to sell us. We get that that's why you're on social media. We know that Target is on social media so that it reminds us to go to Target. We know that you're on social media because you want to be a more popular musician. Understand that we know that already, and then find creative ways to get us to engage with what you're doing, because that's how you grow an audience, that's how you retain an audience, and that's definitely how you avoid annoying your audience. Now, I hope you love all of this information, but if you'd like even more information on how to market yourself, present yourself, sell your music, and so much more, please click the subscribe button, because that's what we do here at Music Biz. Every week we share videos about what's happening in the industry, where it's going, and what we can learn from the people that are already getting ahead. So if you haven't done so already, please click the subscribe button down below. It would mean the world to us. And if you have, then I thank you so much for watching another video. It's my greatest joy to make this content for you, and I'll be back real soon. But until then, let me leave you with this. No matter what you do in this life, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it.